voice comes over and says, "Hi, Sarah," which is my name.
Hello or goodbye or something to us.
Bloody hell.
Shadowy history.
If you like my channel, please subscribe. Don't forget to hit that notification button in the corner. And make sure you leave some comments and share. Now on with the video. Hi horror fan, Rod here from the Horror Reaction channel. Right, today I'm going to go and do something a little bit different. Today I'm going to do a reaction on a short documentary, and this is about real happenings that have happened, and one of them is actually on the series Haunted. And I've watched it myself, the Haunted one. I've come across this, I thought, well, instead of watching some of the sillies, let's watch some of the real serious stuff. And this is serious, alright? This gives you some insight into what, when I say to you these pillocks are in there doing the things that they're doing, this will show you what really can happen and what does happen. So without no further ado, we will go straight into the video. If you like this, definitely give me a thumbs up. But if you do like this, I will do some more. Now, obviously, if I don't get no likes on it, then I'll not bother. But I'll definitely give this one a look, because this is going to the real, what I class as the real paranormal. So let's give it a go. Let's see what happens. Like I said, any comments, please leave below. And here we go.
You don't have to travel far from Pittsburgh to find one of the most haunted places in America. Just 45 minutes north of the city, in Newcastle, Pennsylvania, sits Hillview Manor, a poor farm turned nursing home.
I'll just turn it up a tad.
The facility opened its doors in 1926 as the Lawrence County Home for the Aged. This facility housed the mentally ill, destitute, and elderly residents with no place to go.
Records suggest that it probably wasn't such a very great place to be. We noticed that they came in to
what makes me die about these places in America is they just leave them, and they leave all of the stuff.
In the poor farm were buried in a small cemetery behind the building. This area is now a golf course that sits on the graves
small
of the
little hospitals and all that,
who
with
died in
give an
the
arm and a leg for a couple of free beds and all that sort of thing. They just leave everything. It's unbelievable.
The facility was
The amount of
changed
waste.
to Hillview Manor, an extended care facility. For the last 3 decades, Hillview Manor was open. Thousands of people spent the last years of their lives in these rooms and hallways.
It's like all the paints are all lead-based paints, because that's the only way it goes like that, was lead-based paint.
2 years of records.
So that didn't do anybody any good anyway.
The building was open until it closed. We are guessing between 8,000 to 12,000 people that have died in the building.
With that many deaths in one building, it isn't hard for many people to believe that Hillview Manor is a catalyst for paranormal activity.
Okay, TR, we are standing in front of the boiler room, and there is a story of a resident actually dying down here named Eli Sorry. Who was Eli, and how did he actually die down here?
Eli was a resident here. He came here in the early 1930s. He lost his home due to being an alcoholic. Christmas Eve, 1934, he decided to go out and get drunk. You weren't allowed to be drunk on the premises. A couple of his friends found him passed out back in the snow, brought him down in here in the boiler room to sleep it off. When they came back the next morning, they found him dead of intoxication.
Now, you actually believe you've come in contact with Eli.
That's some serious amount of drink.
What experience did you have, and how did it affect you?
We were down here doing an investigation. It was me and 2 other people. And from the back corner of the boiler room, we heard footsteps running towards us and stopped probably about...
Now, did he die of alcohol? Or did he die of hypothermia? Because he could have been almost dead by the time they took him down there. Surely they'd have been better off taking him to the hospital, wouldn't you have thought? But there you go.
A foot to 2 feet in front of us, just dead stop.
What was your first thought? What was the first thought that ran through your head whenever you heard this?
My first thought was, get the hell out of there.
Yeah, I bet.
Then, you know, being a rational person, you try and find some kind of explanation. I thought maybe an animal had gotten in, went searching everywhere to try and find an animal, couldn't even find a footstep of an animal down there, and could not find an explanation.
In these end-of-life care
See,
facilities,
look at those beds.
sadness becomes a very familiar emotion. Sometimes the sadness of dying can be too much for one person to bear.
Why do you think that this hallway is more active than other areas?
I think it's because it was like a hospice wing. It was a critical care unit for a while, so there was probably a high turnover rate of people in this room. Plus, we also have a man that hung himself back in the 1930s by the name of Angelo, and we get a lot of activity from him. We've asked him, you know, his name, and it's not just what happened to them here either. The reason they were here, you know, their whole lives might have been really difficult and hard, you know, to deal with, and they come here and then either they pass away or...
So, I mean, some of us don't realise how lucky we are, really, do we?
No one can know why those who died at Hillview Manor can still be heard from in these rooms and halls to this day.
Maybe they liked it here. Maybe they think they're stuck here. Maybe it's their own personal hell. I don't know, because I know I wouldn't want to have to be stuck in one place. I'm hoping that they have the ability to come and go as they please.
Hillview Manor is a building that had a
lot braver
profound
than
effect on
me.
its community and those who died within its walls.
I'm not too sure I
It
could
is
work in a
ironic
place
those
that
who
I
died
thought
here
was
now have a profound
haunted.
effect on all
I'm
who
not too
enter.
sure. But I don't know. Have you noticed the thing about
Sitting just
America
40
and
miles west
Canada?
of Pittsburgh is the small and quiet town of East Liverpool, Ohio.
They have so many places that are named after all of the English places.
The
Liverpool.
building itself was built in 1889, and there was a fire that destroyed the entire city block in 1909. During that fire, that was documented the first confirmed death in the building. Right after the fire was put out, they're not sure if he was looting or if he was actually helping, but Bert Sweargarden was crushed by the wall of the Thompson building, fell into the basement. They said his face and his head was crushed from that.
What many people don't know is that the J.C. Thompson building has a mysterious past.
The rumors are that this area was a brothel. I have found some historical documents
We
stating
look back
that
at one
there
of my
was a
videos,
brothel
maybe the young lady
up
that was
and running
there
in
should
this
go
area,
there.
and it gives the location of where the building is.
Any building that was once surrounded by illegal activities is bound to have some unexplained history. And it isn't surprising that the J.C. Thompson building has many stories of paranormal
A house of
activity.
ill repute.
Well, we were having an investigation, and we had a group of people all crowded in here, and I was on my knee right here in the corner, and I happened to look up, and in the corner, in this doorway right here, there was a full-bodied apparition. There was a woman, and she was leaning out of the doorway, and she was looking right at me.
Do you think that this woman could be maybe the spirit of a prostitute or a woman who worked up here?
That could very well be. I
The
mean,
lady of the night.
I was really surprised. I mean, shocked is more like the word, because I normally don't see stuff like that, you know? I mean, who does?
Right.
And I looked up, and there she was, and she was staring at me just as much as I was staring at her.
Paranormal experiences that connect directly to the history of the building are very compelling. As I continue to ask questions, it turns out Mike isn't the only person who has seen this woman.
Last year, I was locking up after an investigation, I was down on the diamond and we were just building our website, so I was taking pictures of the outside of the building in the dark. I took one picture with my cell phone and I looked and I could see something in the window. So I zoomed in.
With the little ruffles on the arms
like
and that. That's definitely an old
Victorian dress.
Yeah.
Long sleeve, high neck with a Victorian hairstyle, standing off to the side.
She was a prosy though. I don't think I'd have wanted it.
Being
You see her
who I am,
face.
I took a step back and took another picture of the same window to see if there was debris hanging down or if it was just a trick. But there's no debris in the window. There's nothing hanging from the ceilings, no curtains.
Wow.
So.
Wow, that is amazing.
Look at the state of these places.
Well,
I mean, I'd have thought just being in them and the breathing's not doing you any good. I wouldn't have thought.
And they've had conversation with them as well in different areas of the building. But I've also found in some historical documents from East Liverpool where a gentleman was running a brothel on Market and 6th, which is the location of this building.
Could Sarah have captured a picture of an apparition of one of the prostitutes who used to work
Well,
at
it
the
certainly
brothel?
looks like something.
Paranormal evidence that is this compelling really makes you start to wonder. What other experiences are people having in this building?
There was one group who, as they were packing up for the night and I was escorting them out, they were, talking and on their EVP they were, saying goodbye to the building. The lady says, is there somebody who could say hello, goodbye, or something to us? And plain as day, a voice comes over and says, "Hi, Sarah," which is my name.
Hello or goodbye or something to us.
Bloody
The
hell.
shadowy history behind the J.C. Thompson building. It doesn't come as a surprise to find out that there are so many ghost stories. The J.C. Thompson building is riddled with a dark past that may have taken the lives of those who
That's what I mean. It seems so much more real when you see it in a proper content.
Of leaving anytime soon.
Unbelievable. Right. I'm sure this is the one that's on Haunted.
When former county commissioner
But
Bob
obviously
Kramer
not this.
and his
This is
young
the
family
real
began to look for a
one,
home
whereas
in
the
Pittsburgh,
Haunted had
in
the
small and
actors.
quiet town of Brentwood.
And I remember
One
seeing
house
this.
stood out above the rest.
We put the actors in, like, not this actual particular one.
I was always attracted to this house from the time my earliest memories. So my expectation was I was buying a really neat house that I had always admired, I had always wanted to see and to walk through, and that it was going to be a great place to live. And we certainly had no idea whatsoever what was going to come along with the house.
Lovely looking property. There's some beautiful properties out there. There really
In
is.
hindsight, all of the signs of a haunting were there, even before they made an offer on the home.
Well, I would say that the day we were looking at the house, or one of the times we were looking at the house, our 3-year-old son wandered off by himself. They found him on a landing halfway up the staircase, hyperventilating and crying. It was somewhat telling that the woman, as she ran up to him in front of my wife to embrace him, asked him, "Did you see something?"
At the time, Bob didn't see the significance of this strange occurrence.
No?
He made a lowball offer on his dream home. To his shock, his offer was accepted almost immediately.
My dream would have just been
It was as if the
shattered,
seller
mate.
was running away from the house
Absolutely
as
shattered.
fast
I
as they
wouldn't have
could.
bothered.
And shortly after moving in,
Especially if it's a
strange
child.
things began to
Because
happen.
like I said before, they see things
He'd come down to the
more than
barn,
we
all the
do.
lights would be on, and
Because they're still innocent.
radio would be playing, water would be running, things like that. So
But the strangest of the early activity came from a coat closet under the main staircase.
that coat closet has a light in it, and there's a brass pull chain on it. You reach in, pull the chain, turn on the light.
Remember this.
And I noticed after probably 3 times in a row, as I would either be going to the closet to get my overcoat or to hang it back up again, that chain would not be hanging straight, but would be wrapped around the little screws that held in the crystal shape. I automatically thought, well, it's not the children, so I automatically thought it was my wife. So then one morning, I went, got my coat, turned it on, we were both there. She saw me turn the light off, chain was hanging, closed the door. I said, okay, don't go in the closet the rest of the day. I came home, right to the closet, she came with me, opened the door, chains wrapped around the light.
Wow.
Now, with that, we knew, right then, there's something going on here.
This activity seemed harmless at first.
Yeah, that sort of
but
thing
the
just
family
doesn't
would
happen,
soon
does
come to
it?
find out
Just doesn't
that
happen.
this was not a friendly spirit.
As the time went on, this thing really unmasked itself for what it was. And that wasn't a harmless, formerly human spirit. It was a demonic entity that was evil and was out to hurt us and wanted to drive us out of this house.
As the activity became worse, the Cranmer family looked to the Catholic Church for help. Now, once the church did get involved, did things get better or did they get worse?
They got much worse.
The thing is with the churches, are so hard to get them to believe.
Subsequently,
Or they don't want to believe.
There, it would move furniture around the house. It would turn pictures sideways. It would take pictures off the wall. It would make it known that it was still here and it wasn't happy.
The strangest and most unexplained piece of activity reported by Bob and his family emerged in 2005.
Certainly still looks like he don't trust it, does he? He's got all of the church stuff everywhere in there, all the crucifixes and everything. Mind you, I think I'd be the same way.
January of 2005 on the 3rd floor. And over the next few weeks appeared on the 2nd floor, down the stairway right behind me, up here in this stairway. We didn't have all the artwork there then. And then eventually down to the 1st floor, and even appeared on the kitchen cabinets. Wow. I kept a number of sheets of the wallpaper that actually had the blood-like substance running down it. You can see where the drops...
Look, could you imagine that just appearing?
And then subsequently ran...
Why didn't you just sell the house, mate?
Had this tested?
I had the fluid analyzed by 2 different laboratories. They didn't know what it was, and they certainly had no idea how it would have appeared.
The analysts couldn't even tell what it was.
After the church became involved, Bob and his family began to find religious artifacts, crosses and crucifixes, bent and broken in half. And then suddenly, this spirit began to physically harm the family.
It would bite us, it would scratch us, particularly scratch us. It would scratch me a lot. It would scratch my chest, scratch my back, scratch my arms. Generally always 3 parallel scratches.
And it was still there.
That would go down underneath your clothing.
Mate, you deserve a medal.
Phenomena occurring, the church decided that this house might be in need of an exorcism.
Might be.
A team of paranormal investigators was brought in from State College, Pennsylvania. Before they came to conduct their research, a psychic told them of a crawl space in the center of the house that would need to be accessed.
So when they came the next morning, they came a Friday night, and they asked me if such a place existed. And I right away knew that it did, right in the center of the house. There's a large area underneath this large staircase behind that walk-in closet.
This is the same walk-in closet where the activity began with the brass pull chain. When the team arrived, they knew they had to cut through the back wall of the closet. Once open, in this crawl space, they found personal items from the Cranmer family.
We found a piece of a Lego toy from my son. I mean, now how a Lego toy got in that space, that, was completely sealed off. There was no access to it. The air that came out was stale, but they found a Lego toy in there. But certainly the most interesting thing that they found was a crumbled up picture.
The drawing that was found was a sketch of the original owner of the house and his mother.
On the reverse side of this picture, the only thing, it just looked evil. Now, as we later found out, there were, European traditions on how to put a curse on a place or a family or a person, and that's most likely what all those kind of demented drawings were about.
After finding these drawings and removing them from the house, the church came in and cast the demon from the home. This family's nightmare was finally over.
Right, okay.
After experiencing this real-life horror story, Bob was inspired to write a book called The Demon of Brownsville Road, where he documents from beginning to end his family's experience.
It's definitely the one that's on the hauntings. Don't know if you've ever seen them. They're on YouTube. They're well worth watching if you like this sort of thing. They're well worth watching. It's called The Haunt. I don't know if it's The Haunting or Haunting. I think it's just Haunting.
Telling this story, writing this book, which is I think it's probably one of the most well-documented, well-researched, most thoroughly told and explained story of the paranormal, supernatural, the demonic that exists. And it unmasks evil for what it is. It demonstrates that evil does exist.
Bob Cranmer's story echoes a fear that resonates deep within everyone's mind.
He certainly seems like he means it, doesn't he?
If you and your family came under attack from an invisible force, how would you survive the terror that lurks in the dark, just out of sight? Science still sits years away from understanding ghosts and the paranormal.
That's fact.
Because of this, many people refuse to believe that there is more to life than
He's
our
coming
eyes
on
can see.
more and more, though, that things are being noticed.
That points toward the more mysterious
Obviously now we're filming and all that sort of thing.
These stories told by real people get us no closer to finding the answers. But if our minds are kept open to the possibility, maybe the answers will find us.
Must keep with an open mind. Did you enjoy that? Please let me know in comments below. And like I said, I need the thumbs up. Most definitely need the thumbs up this time, because I want to know if I need to do more, because I thought that was rather good. It's nice to sort of break up people's reactions to things to an actual happening. So I really think that I'll have to do a few more of those, but I'd like your advice first to find out whether I need to go that way or not. Alright, if you're new to the channel and you enjoyed that, please subscribe. Don't forget to leave the notifications down the bottom. Give me some love, and if you liked it, please share it. So until next time, see you again. Bye. If there's anybody out there that's got some videos and would like me to see, if you want to send them via my email address, which is also there now, please do so, and I will try and have a good look at them, and if I think they're worth putting on, I'll put them on. Like that. If you would like to see some more, just click that box right there. That will be giving you my last video. Alright?